Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Brentwood Baptist Leadership Podcast. We're relaunching this podcast with a goal to help equip church leaders and teams with practical tools for everyday ministry. And each month, we'll highlight a different area that helps strengthen the whole church staff, all leading up to the Elevate Church Conference this September. Today's conversation is about something that most churches feel the pressure of every week: social media. Not as just a marketing add-on, but as an extension of real church life, a place to reflect what God is doing in your church, encourage spiritual growth, and stay connected with people throughout the week. My name is Dillon Sherlock, and today I'm joined by Kat and Laila, who help lead digital content for us at Brentwood. We're going to talk about building a healthy, sustainable social media strategy, especially for small to mid-sized churches, and how to stay focused on mission instead of chasing trends. So if you've ever felt behind or overwhelmed or unsure of what to post, this conversation is for you. Let's jump in. Welcome, Kat and Laila. I'm glad y'all are here. This is going to be fun.
Happy to be here.
Kat, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Kat Howard. I've been on staff here for just under 3 years. I cannot believe it. Time has seriously flown.
Crazy.
I actually started on staff here really just solely doing photography, and that slowly grew into helping out with social media. So
fun.
Laila?
I'm Laila, and I have been here for just over 2 years now. I do digital content management, social media, and photography. I actually started as an intern here.
That's right.
Doing photography for VBSs, working in various workspaces. And now I'm here. So it's been the best.
I love it. Y'all are so much fun to work with. So
we'll see if that comes out during this conversation.
Yeah, we'll find out. Okay, so let's talk social media. What is, as we've worked with our 9 campuses, and then as we went through the Elevate conference last year, and what we've observed from other churches on social media, what is a common misconception that smaller and mid-sized churches face when they think of social media?
We talk about this often, but I think a big misconception is that everything on social media needs to be super produced in order to even begin the process of posting for your church.
Exactly.
We often notice that a lot of the content that's super produced doesn't even perform as well as something more natural to social media, where it's just a selfie video or iPhone content that's a little bit more personal and relatable.
Organic, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That, and I think just that you need to be posting constantly. I think that that's actually changed quite a bit over the years. I think as long as you're being consistent in some capacity, that's just beneficial. It doesn't need to be every day, every hour. Right. I think we've kind of moved away from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being consistent in your own capacity.
Yeah.
Intentionality.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember when church social media and really social media in general really became like a mainstream thing, there's the idea that everything needs to be polished and like it needs to look our best.
Yeah.
But we've seen over the last, 3-4 years since, I guess it's been longer than that, since TikTok has really like been on the rise. It's all about that more organic, relatable content that anybody can pick up and anybody can make, which is tremendous news for social media in churches.
Truly.
Most churches, especially small and mid-sized, they don't have a lot of the same resources that we are very blessed to have here at Brentwood. So let's talk about that a little bit. What does that look like to make social media content that isn't highly produced?
Yeah. Well, we utilize our iPhones all the time. All the time. They, to us, are just as important to have in our back pocket as holding a camera on a Sunday morning or at an event. Also, just because we try and post, if it's an event, we try and post in real time after the event because it's freshest on people's minds. They like seeing that they were just at this event and it's already online. And yeah, just getting to post like a reel of just a video you took on your phone really quick of a room or a worship moment that was really cool. Or like, I even think a reel that performed pretty well for us was one from our deaf church. They were celebrating 30 years and they were worshiping. And that's not something that a lot of people get to see. But I just took a quick video on my iPhone and literally posted it within 10 minutes. And I didn't put a ton of time or effort into it, but yet people really
connected to it.
Yeah, really enjoyed seeing that part of our church. So
yeah. Do you think at this point it's safe to say that our best performing content is just the simple iPhone, like not a whole lot of overthinking goes into it?
For sure. 100%.
Especially on the video side.
Yeah. For sure. I think it takes a little bit of reframing your mind when you are thinking about approaching social media, starting for your church, or especially if you're into the photography or videography land, you kind of have to reframe, like, what does it look like for us to make something relatable to the people that we're trying to reach, to our congregation, to our target audiences? Like, what is something that can connect to them? And sometimes it might be the photos you take and the videos that you create. And sometimes it might be something super simple, like what Kat just said, where it's literally in the moment and you just put it straight up onto the feed and people are connecting because they're like, oh, I was just in that room.
Yeah.
I'm going to like that and comment, send it to people and be like, oh my word, did you see this? I was just here.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think people probably gotten burned on like traditional marketing and the overproduced, overpolished, that they just want to feel like they're in the room while something happened.
Yeah.
And so that plays in favor of churches and especially small, mid-sized churches that maybe the iPhone is the only camera that that they can afford or that they have at their disposal. Like, that's great. You've got the best tool right there.
Right.
But it's not just the footage. We talk all the time about the hook that goes into it. So we can post clips all day long. We can all pull up our phones right now. We have 100,000 clips of something that happened this past Sunday on our phone.
Yep.
But it's crafting what we call the hook. Laila, can you explain what that means?
In the day of social media that is today, our attention spans are increasingly smaller every single day, literally. And the hook is what you can use to grab people's attention.
Yeah.
So if you don't have something that makes you stop and want to watch the rest of the video, you probably have maybe 1 to 2 seconds to capture people's attention.
Yeah.
And if you don't grab it in those 1 to 2 seconds, a lot of times people just scroll on because there's millions and millions of pieces of content people are putting out every single day. So the hook is really a piece, an attention grabbing phrase that you can use in order to show people why they should watch this video, why they should engage with this post, whatever it may be. It's kind of showing the why behind it in the first second, like revealing the plot at the very beginning.
I like that.
That's true.
That's great. Okay. So when we talk social strategy at Brentwood, we talk about the content pillars. And I would say 80 to 90% of what we post can fit into one of these 4 content pillars. What are those 4?
Yeah.
I know one is worship and word.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That was off the top of my head. I'm not going to lie.
That is such a core one.
Yeah.
So, of course.
Yes.
We have everyday discipleship.
Yep.
That looks like small groups. It can look like engaging with sharing the gospel, helping people grow in their faith, showcasing that on social media. We have worship in the word, like Kat said. We have gospel in action, which is such a fun one, a very cool thing to showcase. And baptisms and mission work and serving, that is a really fun one to be able to showcase. We're not just, talking the talk, but we're walking the walk. Not just sayers, but we're doers.
And a lot of stories come from that as well. People love to see the stories shared on social, like that they can connect to or feel inspired by. That comes from that for sure.
100%. It's a really cool thing.
Yeah. So again, the content pillar thing is a very useful tool for smaller churches who may not have a ton of content coming in. But this is a good framework of like, okay, if I know that we have a goal of posting X amount of times a week, here's 4 different pillars and you can come up with your own. Again, the ones that we use are gospel in action, everyday discipleship, worship and word, and life together. Those are the 4 that we have kind of gravitated towards, and we kind of try to fit everything into one of those 4 buckets. But yeah, I would always recommend that churches establish that, and then it just gives you a framework of, okay, if I'm looking at a week's worth of stuff that I need to post, how can I fit something into each one of these buckets? Right. And so it keeps you from having to start from scratch every week.
We say often that it keeps us grounded in remembering what we're doing, why we're doing it, giving us a foundation to work from instead of, feeling like we're always starting from scratch. We know why we're posting, and it's, to engage the whole person with the whole gospel of Jesus Christ, anywhere, anytime, with anybody. And from all those things come our pillars. Yeah. And so then it keeps us focused on like, okay, yeah, this is the why. And so what about the how? And it's showcased. So we love our pillars.
And as soon as you create those pillars too, it's crazy how quickly they become ingrained, that it's just a second nature. Like now we know every Sunday that we want to get, maybe even just a small iPhone clip of a pastor praying like this last week, just dealing with like disaster relief in Nashville, having a clip of our pastor praying over Nashville, like just something as simple as that. And it's like that can feed right into life together. It can feed into worship and word, all the things.
How do these content pillars help us from like feeling like we have to chase every trend that pops up on social media?
Yeah. This is a big one for us. Constantly finding ways to incorporate and stay up to date on what's going on in social media. And I think the word grounded comes back to mind, or it's just like, it helps us reframe the idea, like be creative and reframe it and ensure that we're staying focused on our mission as a church, our vision, staying grounded and like, okay, this is such a fun reel. It might not fit into the categories that we usually post.
It's not who we are.
Yeah. Not true to
ourselves. Right. Exactly.
And although like we need to keep in mind that social media is almost purely entertainment at this point, like people sharing funny videos to their friends and like wanting to be engaged really quickly. But this is also our ministry, and we have the biggest pool of people, it's literally the internet, to share the gospel with, that if people are somehow interacting with our page who don't go to our church, that the gospel is still at the forefront. And trends can do that for sure. But we just find that as long as we're sticking with our pillars, like something could become trendy, but that's not necessarily our goal.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I feel like we would love to post, videos of Pastor Jay dancing and singing along to or lip syncing to a song. But that's not true to who we are. We could do it for the views. We could do it for the likes. But at the end of the day, when you show up here on a Sunday morning, that's not the Pastor Jay that you're going to see. So, we reserve those for a couple of fun times a year. We try to do something fun around Christmas time just to show a little bit of lightheartedness, and a couple of other times throughout the year. But it's not who we are online because it's not who we are in person. And so, and maybe every church could be a little different.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe you're at a church where your pastor is a big old goofball and is able to translate that into a gospel centric personality on social media, and that's great. So maybe if that's you, lean into that as one of your content pillars. So that kind of transitions nicely into what we do post on social media should feel like an extension of Sunday morning and what happens throughout the week. How do we showcase that?
I feel like authenticity is so, desired in this day and age, especially. And it goes back to what we're talking about, creating things that feel native to social media, feel real in time. And that feeds into how we are deciding what we're going to post. Like what Kat was saying earlier, we like to post very in the moment things, going into life together. We want to create a space where, just like what we were talking about a second ago, when you walk into the room at one of our campuses, we hope that the social media accounts reflect what you're going to feel. in that moment. Like that you can go to the page on the church at Harpeth Heights and you can envision yourself in that room worshiping with these people in that moment. You can actually see in real time what that's going to look like, what that's going to feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's our front door.
Yes.
Like we want to treat social media as kind of a front door.
Yeah.
It is a marketing tool, but maybe not in the traditional sense, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
It is a marketing tool, and so we want it to feel, like if you're watching something from the church at Harpeth Heights, we want that to feel natural to what you would actually encounter when you show up there.
Right.
There was a time before I started here that the social media was like overly trendy for who we were. And like at the time, our senior pastor was up there in years, and we still had pews and all of that. But when you looked at social media, it was like all these like really trendy, like these trendy effects and stuff like that. And I was like, wait a second, this is not like Brentwood Baptist. Like this works great at Elevation or some of these more contemporary churches. But it does not work well for us. So scale that back and be true to ourselves.
Well, and I think kind of jumping off what you were saying, Laila, a little bit earlier too, is like because we're posting such like in real time stuff, it just organically is going to feel like the campus. Because like for us, we have 9 campuses and we run different social media for all of them. So a worship clip at App South is going to feel like App South. But I just think that if you're getting that in the moment stuff, it's going to feel true. And I mean, we have the amazing opportunity that we get to be at all of these different campuses. We're not just at one. So we're not creating a bunch of content just for one church, which is unique to us. But
it's honestly the coolest thing to see all the different personalities across the campuses. Like they're all so different and have distinct personality traits. And it's honestly so cool to get to go in and you're creating something different everywhere you go. But also every page that you go to is different because the congregation is different, the atmosphere is different. And yet all still unified and with the same mission and vision. It's just the coolest thing.
I tell people all the time that is probably one of the best parts of my job is that we get to see how God is working amongst 9 different churches, essentially 9 different congregations across Middle Tennessee. And each one of those looks vastly different. Like no 2 of our campuses are like a copy of each other. They all have their own uniqueness, but it's all rooted from the same mission and vision.
Exactly.
And all of that. So
it's so cool.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about frequency. How often should churches be posting each week?
Hot topic.
Yeah. A good rule of thumb that we always like go back to, 3 to 5 posts on an account per week is a great baseline. It's a great way to like to Kat's point earlier about consistency. Consistency is key versus like, I need to be posting every second of every day. It's like, let's start here. This is always a good place to start and continue with. If your congregation can expect 3 to 5 posts a week, they're going to be ready to engage. It's going to create like almost a trust, like, I'm going to be seeing stuff from my church campus this week. So 3 to 5 is a great way. For other accounts, you might do 7 a week. You might do, it kind of depends on the engagement that you have. But a rule of thumb to go back to is always start 3 to 5.
The engagement and the amount of content that, the level of stuff that's actually coming in.
Exactly.
So,
I am thinking about, smaller churches who there may be like an admin who is entrusted with all of their admin work, but then, also could you please post on our social media? And I'm just thinking like, if that is you and you're feeling overwhelmed of like, what do I post? Do I need to be consistent? They say to post every day. I don't know what to post every day. We don't have enough content for that. I'm spread thin, all the things. I think as long as you are being consistent and that it doesn't matter, going back to our original conversation, what the quality is necessarily. Even if you're just posting a clip from the sermon or even like a carousel of sermon notes or a worship clip, and those are your 2 posts for the week, that's still continuing on what you're learning on a Sunday. That's still creating community through your church on social media.
Right.
Yeah.
Relieve the pressure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that we have not mentioned yet is event marketing. So when a lot of churches for sure think about social media, they think of social media as just a marketing extension of like their next upcoming event.
Yeah.
It can be that.
Yeah.
We have learned that like the primary focus, as you mentioned earlier, is largely like entertainment.
Yeah.
So for better or for worse, like that is what social media has become. It's just a place to send funny things or inspiring things to your friends, your family.
Right.
What is generally not funny or inspiring is just a big old event graphic of the upcoming chili cook-off.
So true.
So there's a time and a place for it. What do we typically say is our like rule of thumb for how often we post about events compared to all the other things in our content pillars?
Well, we do have a tier system just based on like the scale of the event, if it's church-wide, if it's campus specific, if it's ministry specific. I feel like most generally for like things that happen every single week, we tend to not promote those all the time unless there's a change or something like unique about that. So we can take that out of the equation unless it's like starting back up for the fall semester or something. Otherwise, yeah, just kind of depends on the scale of the event. But I feel like our rule of thumb is 1 to 3 posts at least. Is that what you would say?
Yeah. Definitely marketing posts are much less than the other content that we create.
Yeah.
And like Kat said, our tier system is super helpful in determining what we post and for each event and stuff like that.
Yep.
But we also tried to reframe the way that we think of marketing posts.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Making them feel more true to social media. And I'm
Yeah.
going to keep saying that phrase.
Yeah.
Because,
So what does that look like?
Yeah.
How does that practically play out?
So talking about social media as entertainment, when we look at marketing, promo posts and things like that, we want it to feel like someone who doesn't attend the church or has never come across our page before, they should be able to relate to this content too. So
Yeah.
we want to make it feel like we're telling a story. Like ultimately,
Yeah.
entertainment is telling a story. So if there's a young adult event, maybe we have a reel of a young adult gathering or event where we can put a hook on it, you know, talking about how important community is
Yeah.
as young adults, or
Yeah.
like a POV, or like when
Yeah.
you find, you know, and then in the caption, you can, again, begin with the storytelling of like, community is, you know, so important for us, or whatever that might look like. And
Yeah.
then below you can say, if you're looking for community, we have this event, come to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way it's relatable to everyone on social media.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a standalone or like exclusive almost.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, you know, going back to like if you just post a graphic or something, sometimes it can feel exclusive to the people who are not going or something like that. But social media is just, it's wide open. It's out there for everyone. So
Yeah.
how can you curate that to make it into something that's relatable to everyone, even though might not be able to come,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they could still relate to it in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
You still want, even if it's an event that happens every year, you also still want it to feel new and fresh.
Yeah.
You know, like I think of our student ministry, they do like a girls retreat and a boys retreat, and how like we want to showcase what it's like to be there, but we don't want to post the same video or the same photos every time. So that when they see it on their feed again, they're like, oh yeah, that was really fun. And it's not like you're playing off of their memories from the event, but you're also just like creating a feeling and creating a
Yeah.
memory.
There's a level of FOMO to it. Like,
Yeah,
for sure.
It kind of sounds weird to say it, but a lot of what we're doing, we're creating an element of FOMO of like, hey, because you weren't here on Sunday, like this is what you missed out. Or
Right.
because you didn't go to the girls retreat last year, this is what you missed out on. So don't miss out this year. Like you've got
Yeah.
to be here for that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If they can stand on their own, that's a really good goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And of course, like we do paid ads for other events.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different talk for a different day
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we won't get into now. Great. All right. What tools are we using to kind of help us along our social media management?
So grateful for tools. Yes, so grateful for our tools. Let's see. We use all Adobe pretty much for like editing photo.
Yeah.
Our video team uses it too, but for short form video, we actually use CapCut. It's just very user friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super simple way to cut those in real time reels.
Hey.
Very simplified. We also use Sprout Social currently for scheduling out posts.
Okay.
So another
a social media scheduler.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Social media scheduler. Another one that's really good for that is Meta Business Suite.
Yeah.
Super simple. We used that for a long time as well. It was great. We loved it.
And that's a free option, by the way, Meta Business Suite.
Yes.
So again, for the smaller to mid-sized churches, Sprout, not going to lie, Sprout's expensive. It's definitely not for everybody.
Yeah.
Meta Business Suite is great.
It's awesome.
It's free. There's a lot of capability in it. You get all your analytics and all of that all in one place.
Yep.
So yeah, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
What else?
Especially if you are a one man or woman show and you're doing all these other responsibilities and social media is also now yours. A scheduling tool, aka free Meta Business Suite, is 1,000% so helpful for you. It's going to make it possible for you to hit your...
If you can batch things in advance, you can schedule it out a month in advance.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So what's y'all's goal as far as like batching content out?
Yeah. I think, we try to go up to 1 to 2 weeks ahead and making room for that in real time content. We don't want to, too much prepare in the sense that it doesn't feel true to what's actually happening in the room.
Yeah. It feels more like a marketing agency at that point.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. But when there are things that we know we're going to need to post, say there's promo, like in a month from now, actually a little over a month, we'll have Snowball. And so what does that look like? We know we're going to have Snowball. We know we're going to need to create a certain amount of promo for that. So we might schedule it ahead for the month in advance for something like that.
Yeah.
Where we're able to prepare.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So scheduling out as far in advance as your calendar allows while still allowing time to, post stuff in real time.
Yes.
Super helpful. A lot of church social media managers, if this is like a part-time thing and you've got a full-time admin job or whatever that looks like, they come in on Monday and they're like, oh my goodness, I've got to have, now you're telling me I got to have 3 to 5 things to post this week on top of everything else that I've done. Well, if you can block out a couple hours to batch that kind of stuff out, you at least walk in on Monday knowing, okay, I've got a couple things on the calendar. So even if I can only come up with one other thing to post this week, I've already got a couple things scheduled out. Super helpful.
And use like events happening in your church to fill the other spots. Use a Wednesday night. If you have photos from a Wednesday night, post those and say, we can't wait to see you. You can schedule those things in advance, and Meta, Sprout, all those things help you do that.
Yeah.
One more thing we use is Opus.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Yes. So Opus is an AI tool that helps us cut down sermon clips.
Okay.
So we can pull the sermon from a Sunday morning and paste it into Opus. We can write a prompt, like give us this part of the sermon when, Pastor Jay is talking about XYZ. We can put on the length that we want it to be. And basically it will generate for us, it will give us a bunch of just cut up clips throughout the sermon.
Okay.
From there, we go in and check out what it's pulled. We'll go in and edit what to complete the point that maybe he's said, ensure that everything is how it was said in the room.
Yeah.
But it's a great helpful tool to it cuts it vertically for you.
Okay.
You can create a template where it'll have the captions on the screen for you.
Nice.
That way you're going in and you can adjust it to be true to what was in the room, be true to what, is true to the Bible, all those things. But it's a great starting point to remove a lot of the time from you having to pull it and cut all that yourself.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when I first started as a social media manager, like cutting sermon clips was probably the most time consuming part of my schedule. And so tools like Opus, and there's a million other ones out there now that do something similar, saves so much time. But again, with the way that we want to treat any AI tool, is that it's a good like first layer, but it still requires a human touch to go in and clean things up, and make things actually feel true to what happened. So
absolutely.
Okay, what platforms are we on, and what do you recommend for other churches?
Great question. We are on Instagram for all 9 of our campuses. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube.
Okay.
Those are our top 3.
What about TikTok?
So, TikTok, hot take. For us right now, it didn't feel like it was where our church is currently.
Yeah.
I think that, like I said earlier, most churches have different personalities and different dynamics. And so it might work for your church, but I think that a great starting place, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, to post your things. If you feel like you want to get more involved, maybe your church is really on the trends and you want to start creating things like that, that's a great thing for TikTok. But yeah, for us, it just didn't feel like the engagement on there was really worth us keeping it up. It felt like our audience was mostly on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the main 3. If you're starting somewhere and you need to know where to be on, Instagram and Facebook. And by the way, they're both the Meta Business Suite.
That's right.
Easy for you to manage.
Yeah. The good thing about those is that they're both prioritizing very similar things right now. Stories, short form video, photos. So it's easy to create content for Instagram and automatically push it over to Facebook without feeling like you have to recreate the wheel.
Yes, exactly.
So for people who are short on time and can't really think super deep into the strategy of it, that's fantastic. It's a great starting point.
Yeah. Shout out to Brentwood Baptist Leadership if you want to follow our accounts.
Yes.
We have Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then Threads as well. Instagram's kind of Twitter.
Yeah. Yep. Good plug there. So thank you. At Brentwood Baptist Leadership.
Yes. Exactly.
So, yeah. Great. Were you going to say something else?
That's it.
Okay.
Follow us, please.
Okay. Let's talk about how we get content. So obviously, Brentwood, we've got y'all on staff. And so you guys do a lot of the capturing, but you don't do all of the capturing because that is physically impossible with the scale of the events and the things that we have going on. So how do we make ourselves be in 9 places at the same time?
At once.
It's a good question. We are just really prioritizing growing our volunteers, people who are also passionate about social media, photography, that want to use their skills for the church. And we just think of it as an extension of like, if you're serving in kids ministry on Sunday, if you're serving by being a greeter, like this is the same type of volunteering and serving for church. So yeah, photo volunteers, if they have a camera and they have a love to take photos, they can help us out. Like we've been talking about using an iPhone. If you got a phone, you can help us. One of our campuses is quite far from Brentwood specifically, and we can't get out there all the time. And we just love that people in that congregation are really passionate about getting us photos of events that they have that we can't always be at. And they're the people who follow those accounts just eat that content up, even though it's just on an iPhone, because it's authentic to them. It's them in their community and their environment. And yeah, we could not be more grateful for our volunteers.
Truly. Shout out to Peter.
Peter.
We could easily sit here at our central offices and create graphics and that kind of thing and ship it out and hit 3 to 5 things per week per campus, but we would lose the authenticity.
Yeah.
So investing in people and volunteers and occasionally contractors, if we have the funds to afford that, has been huge. And that's always my charge for both of them is like, guys, we've got to find more volunteers so that you guys don't physically have to be at everything, because that is when burnout happens, right? And that is exactly what we're trying to avoid.
Right.
Like, I need y'all here for a long time. And so if I'm just saying, you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night at this place, you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday night at this place, like eventually you're going to be like, all right, I did that for a year and I can't do this anymore.
Yep.
So investing in people is massive.
Yeah.
So,
and you'd be surprised at the people who want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
It's such a cool way to serve, like Kat was saying, like, especially for creatives, even people who might not have imagined them in that space. They get to see what they're doing on their phone.
Yeah.
Like they can open up their phone and see what how they're serving the church. Like
Exactly.
It's such a cool way to serve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think our charge to them is like, look for the moment.
Yeah.
Like, what is the moment that sums up the thing that you're at?
Yeah.
If it's a night of worship, what is that like iconic chorus of a song that they sang that night that like people will go home remembering, oh, I remember that one moment.
Yeah.
A big one for us is like every Christmas Eve we do like a candlelight, what is it, the first Noel? What song is it?
Silent Night.
Silent Night. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
We do a candlelit version of Silent Night. It's all a cappella. And it's like the most beautiful thing. And it just perfectly encapsulates Christmas Eve for us. So it's always like, okay, what is the one moment that if you're covering a thing, what is the one thing that you would want to see again if you were there?
Yep.
Look for that. And chances are it'll relate to somebody else online. So.
And whether it's us at these services or events or a volunteer, we do just try to maximize our time getting as much content as possible. Greeting videos, worship videos, praying videos, all the photos that we possibly can. It just helps maximize our time and really helps us with content if we're not going to be able to be at that specific campus for maybe another week or two.
Yeah. So create a shot list ahead of time.
Yep.
Put a little bit of thought into what the thing is that you're going to. If it's a student event, what are they going to be doing at the student event? You've got one this weekend. And we've got the schedule of that. So we kind of know a rough idea of like, okay, at this time they're going to be doing games. At this time they're going to do worship. So I need this type of shot of worship. I need this type of shot of games. Like have a rough roadmap of what you're trying to do when you get there so that you don't just walk in completely blind to the event. And same with when you're using volunteers, it's even more important at that point.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
You've got to be like, you've got to over communicate like, hey, please keep an eye out for this moment. Keep an eye out for the hands that go up during worship, like that kind of thing. And just overly communicating like what you're hoping to get out of it.
For sure.
And the more that you experience that visual hook, if you will, like that specific moment, the more that your eye is trained to look for it.
Totally.
You'll get really fast at whipping your phone out of your back
like
pocket.
that's the thing. I got to get that.
There's always those memes, but it's true.
It's true. Exactly. Yeah. You'll get more accustomed to being like, oh, that's the moment. I can see it right now.
Yeah.
Put out so fast. And
so we talk a lot about not just using other churches as inspiration. So where do y'all look for inspiration for what you do on a weekly basis?
We look at a lot of brands.
Yeah.
Big time brands. Nike for one. Great storytelling.
The Explore feed is gold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you are looking for a bit of a different version of Pinterest, I've been really loving Cosmos. It's more artistic, but it's showing me pictures, little GIFs, like images that I just haven't seen as much like I see on Pinterest or Instagram. So shout out to Cosmos.
Yeah.
And it is really cool to, of course, you can glean from, other churches that you can look up to and things like that. It's cool to see other creators as well. Like there is a big rise in like Christian influencing.
Yeah.
And to go and see how those creators are bridging the gap, kind of like what we talked about with like trends, but also keeping it grounded in scripture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I find that so interesting because it really is starting to bridge the gap between, the rest of social media and then bringing the gospel into that space.
Yeah.
So that's a cool spot to look forward to. But overall, also just other creative pages, like really brands that you really resonate with, that their stuff's compelling to us. Like that's what I look for.
Yeah.
Like if my attention is caught by a reel that I'm scrolling by, immediately I click on the page. I'm like, oh my word, like that was great.
Yeah.
To get inspiration for whatever that is, because it's that storytelling element that can translate over to whatever your mission and vision is grounded in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. Well, I think y'all do a great job. I'm biased, but I genuinely believe that. So, all right, we have one more question. One simple step that smaller churches can take today to kind of get on the right track as far as social media management goes.
Yeah. Honestly, download Meta Business Suite and text a few people in the church that could help you take pictures with your phone on this coming Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And just start walking.
Yeah.
Start taking steps. Just post the one photo that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you post a lot of graphics, switch it up. Try posting photos, try posting a reel, or if you post only photos, post a reel.
Yeah.
Just try different forms of content to push out so that, it's something new and engaging for your community to see.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Kat and Laila, thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's a great reminder that social media doesn't have to be complicated. It just needs to be clear, consistent, and connected to your mission. If you're feeling overwhelmed, start simple. Focus on showing real church life, encouraging everyday discipleship, and posting with intention instead of pressure. Small steps done consistently can make a big impact. This podcast is here to help church leaders and teams grow in practical, mission-focused ministry. And each month, we'll focus on a different area that strengthens the whole church staff, all leading up to the Elevate Church Conference on September 21st and 22nd. And if today's conversation helped you, we'd love for you to join us at Elevate. You can learn more and register at elevatechurchconference.com. Thank you for listening to the Brentwood Baptist Leadership Podcast. We're glad you're here, and we'll see you next week.